Good morning. This is Frater Ralph with Hermetic Temple Radio, live from Cowtown, USA, in the heart of the Missouri Ozarks. And this is our 11:11 meditation practice. Today we are going to be doing a short form. What we've been doing up to now has been usually around 20 minutes to 40 minutes in length. Today's meditation will be about 15 minutes in length. So a little more variety for people that may, be wanting a little shorter period. And what I'm going to be doing in the future is kind of mixing things up a little bit, be presenting the short form, for a couple of days a week, and then the long form for another few days a week. So be giving people more of a variety than what we have in the past. Now today, in addition to our short form meditation practice, I will also give a word on the importance of breath and breath control in meditation. So now, to begin, the format that we observe is at first, I would like all the listeners, if you're in a safe, secure location, settle in and find a comfortable position, a position that you will feel comfortable holding for the next 15 minutes or so. And plus a reminder, this is a meditation exercise, so you need to be in a location where you can drift off into an altered state of consciousness safely. I don't want you to be operating a car or any kind of heavy machinery while listening to this program. If you are, kindly shut this program off and you can find it online again or download it and listen to it when you are in a safe location. We don't want people drifting off into an altered state of consciousness while driving a vehicle. That just isn't safe. So find yourself a comfortable, secure, safe position, one that you can hold for the next 15 minutes or so. And then we will ask you to begin taking deep breaths through your nose, inhaling through your nose, and exhaling through your nose. And we will do that for about a minute or so. And then we will begin chanting our mantra, which is the vowel sound ooh. And we will do that for about a minute or so. And then I will play our meditation music. People may feel free to continue chanting the mantra for as long as they like. They may continue throughout the entire course of the meditation if that works for you. Or you can simply close your eyes, stop chanting at any time, and simply tune in to the music and let yourself go. The important thing is that we reach a relaxed state, focusing on our desire to connect with one another and with the infinite universe around us, and to come into communion with our higher power, our higher self, or the universe as we understand the universe. So let us begin. First, let's take in a few deep breaths. Inhale through your nose. And exhale through your nose. And again. And again. Now settle into a normal pattern of breathing And we will begin to do our chanting. Ooh. Ooh. Remain calm, relaxed. Begin to open your eyes. Take a deep breath. Smile. And return to normal awakening consciousness. Okay, that was our short form of meditation. For those of you used to a longer form, it seemed quite a bit shorter than normal, but we'll be focusing on shorter forms periodically throughout the week and mixing that in with the more traditional Hermetic Temple practice of the long form of 1111 meditation practice. Now, I would like to say a few words on the importance of breath in meditation. And obviously, in whatever you do, breath is important. If you're not breathing, you've got significant problems. And of course, that's obvious. But what is not so obvious is if you are not breathing correctly, you likewise set yourself up for significant problems. And in the West, and this actually nowadays may apply to folks in the East as well, but particularly in the West, we tend to be shallow breathers. And I don't really understand why, but this point was driven home to me about 2 years ago when my dad started coming down with heart problems and breathing problems. And he got to the point where he required oxygen. He needed to be on oxygen. Not all the time, but throughout various parts of the day. And a home nurse came out to teach him how to use the oxygen equipment and to monitor, his health and his progress. And this home nurse, really opened my eyes particularly. I don't know about Dad, but my eyes in particular about the importance of breathing properly. And, she had one of these little pulse ox meters that slips on your finger and tells you your pulse, and it also tells you the amount of oxygen that you have in your bloodstream. And when she first put that thing on Dad's finger, she was demonstrating the importance of a proper breathing posture and proper breathing in general. And when she first took his oxygen reading, he had a blood oxygen level of down in the upper 60s or low 70s. And if you know anything about medicine, I am not a doctor. I just am relaying to you things that I've picked up along the way. But what people in the medical profession tell us is that any blood oxygen level below 90 is troublesome, if not dangerous. And Dad's level down, in the upper 60s was definitely in the dangerous zone. And so what this nurse did to kind of demonstrate to Dad and to me the importance of proper breathing, she then told Dad, okay, now I want you to close your eyes, calm yourself, just relax, and breathe in deeply through your nose. My dad tended to be a mouth breather for a variety of reasons. A lot of us tend to be mouth breathers. But she told him to breathe in deeply through your nose and then out through your mouth, which is not something that we teach here, but she was trying to make this more doable for my father. And after a couple of minutes of this deep breathing practice, breathing in through his nose and out through his mouth, his blood oxygen went from, upper 60s up into the upper 80s just without any additional oxygen, being being provided by means of an oxygen generator or oxygen tank. And I was impressed. And she told him, now when you start feeling weak or dizzy or like you're starting to lose it, pay attention to your breathing. And just breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, making it easy for, a mouth breather. And that will help in and of itself to raise your blood oxygen level. And now, my dad, when he began to need medical attention for his breathing problems, he also required to be put on supplemental oxygen. So he would use that periodically during the day when he felt that he needed it, and sometimes during the night. And then I tried to help remind him to, do his breathing exercises too. And this is really the importance of proper breathing, that most of us do tend to be shallow breathers. If you are an athlete, you have probably heard your coach or your athletic trainer harp on this to a certain extent. I am not much of an athlete. I, in high school and college, was more of an egghead. So instead of track and field, I got involved in speech and debate and singing. And my coach in both, speech and debate and in singing, both of my coaches harped on the necessity to breathe in fully and to breathe in properly. And they stressed this also, that most of us do tend to breathe incorrectly. That when you focus on breathing in, you should, and I would say probably you should do this a few times each day, focus on filling your lungs as completely as you can. Not to the point where you feel like your lungs are going to burst, but just breathe in until you feel that your lungs are fully inflated, and then try to breathe in just a little bit more. And if you've been breathing improperly for an extended period of time, then you'll notice that once you fill up your lungs to what you thought was full, and then try to fill them up just a little bit more, you'll find there is room for growth there within your lungs. And just fill your lungs completely, breathing in through your nose, and then hold. And we do this so that the oxygen that's in your lungs can actually have a chance to be assimilated into your bloodstream through the lungs. And then after you've held that breath for just, a few seconds, again, whatever feels comfortable for you, then focus on exhaling completely. And again, just as you focused on inflating your lungs as much as you comfortably could when you breathed in, when you breathe out, try to expel as much oxygen as you can. And after doing this for just, you don't want to do it till you hyperventilate. I would say just do this for maybe 2 minutes or so. Do it until you feel good. Don't do it until you feel dizzy. But just do it till you feel good, and then return to a normal pattern of breathing. And the reason that we focus on this, art of breathing, which most people take completely for granted, is because most people do not properly fill their lungs with oxygen. Possibly due to stress or just any number of other factors. a lot of people tend to be very shallow breathers, and we don't fill our lungs completely with oxygen when we breathe. And we don't, when we don't fill our lungs as much as we could with oxygen, we really don't get the same level of oxygen supply to our blood. And if our blood oxygen is low, then the oxygen that gets to our brain is going to be diminished. It's going to be causing memory problems, problems with concentration, problems with feeling weak, worn out, stressed out. And when you focus on breathing more properly, you stand a far better chance of bringing your blood oxygen level up into the 90s, somewhere in between, 90 and 100. If you have a blood oxygen meter, you can buy these at Walmart or any number of medical supply stores. They're kind of pricey, but if you're interested in just gauging for yourself what your blood oxygen is, you can pick these things up and just demonstrate for yourself, how your blood oxygen is, and, just common, simple breathing exercises that can be done to raise your oxygen level. And, we had a workable blood oxygen meter for a while. It's since worn out, but, I've just gotten to the point where I normally run about 95, 96 in my blood oxygen. But keeping your blood properly oxygenated is one important benefit to breathing properly. And another important thing in meditation is posture. And again, if you're an athlete or you've been involved with a singing coach or a speech coach, public speaking coach, you've heard that when you are getting ready to do your thing, whether it be, running a couple of miles or giving a 20-minute speech, it's important to, either stand or sit. In meditation we sit for the most part. Public speaking, you stand for the most part. But either stand up straight or sit up straight. Keep your back, as straight as you comfortably can, and just focus on bringing yourself up to your full body height. And this is beneficial because most of us do tend to slouch, and we do tend to stoop over. And I don't know, again, I don't know why. Maybe that's just gravity pulling on us, but, I've noticed that, when I've been sitting and, making videos or talking or just sitting watching television, that I do tend to slouch. And when I become aware of this, I try to sit up as straight as I possibly can and do my breathing exercises. And the reason that this is beneficial is that when you are either standing up straight or sitting up straight, it is much easier for your lungs to fill up with oxygen. It's kind of like trying to inflate a balloon when you have a clamp pressing on the middle of the balloon. It's pretty hard to get that balloon inflated. When we slouch, when we don't sit up straight or stand up straight, we restrict the amount of oxygen that we can get into our lungs. So that's another benefit that helps us to get oxygen into our bloodstream, is to either sit up straight, as we do when we assume a good meditation posture, or stand up straight, when you're outside dealing with the world or just walking around. You will notice that when you stand up straight, walk straight, you feel more empowered than what you normally would. And your back, at least my back, feels a whole lot better than it does if I'm just, slouching. And this helps us to send a non-verbal message to the rest of the world that, hey, I feel good about myself, I feel in charge, I feel empowered. And as a hermetic temple here at Temple of the Infinite Universe, empowering the seeker is one thing that we do focus on. And one way you can project a healthy sense of balanced power into the world around you is just doing the basic thing of walking upright, back straight, shoulders up, and just, assume a dignified posture that says to the world, hey, I'm here and I'm ready for whatever you have to throw at me. So posture, whether we're walking around on the job, walking around through the grocery store, doing our thing, or sitting down to meditate, assuming a correct, upright, straight posture is important because it helps us to feel good about ourselves, to feel empowered, and it also gives us an increased ability to breathe more fully, more deeply, and to get the full benefit out of breathing that normally a lot of people are missing out on. So deep breathing, that's why we do it. We don't do it to the point where you're going to feel dizzy and lightheaded. If you're feeling like you're hyperventilating, then you're doing it too deeply. But just fill up your lungs as full as feels comfortable, and then hold it and exhale. And chances are that if you have, the feeling of just being blah, feeling of being weak, feeling of dizziness, just that simple breathing exercise in and of itself can work wonders. I was really surprised, when I saw my dad benefit from that breathing practice, and he had congestive heart failure at that time, breathing problems associated with a congestive heart failure, and just the breathing exercises alone really benefited him enormously. So, another word of caution: if you are sick, if you do have breathing problems, and especially, if you've got congestive heart failure or anything like that, don't just take this what I'm telling you today for gospel. By all means, see your doctor and talk about these things with your doctor. What I'm telling you here is just to help aid normal, healthy people in their practice of meditation. If you are sick, if you feel you need to be under a doctor's care, then by all means seek out a doctor's care, and also tell your doctor what it is you're trying to accomplish through your meditation practice. A lot of doctors nowadays know the value of meditation, and if they know that their patient is practicing meditation, that will help them to treat any problems that may be going on with you. So don't use meditation as your only tool for healthcare, but definitely, use that as a strong, vital tool in your healthcare regimen. Now, breathing in deeply. Okay, we've covered the fact that this helps to enrich your blood with oxygen. There's another overlooked benefit to breathing in deeply through your nose. And this, what information that I'm going to bestow upon you now, is what I've read in a nice little metaphysical book called Science of Breath. And this book was written back in, I believe, 1904. Yes, copyright 1904 by the Yogi Publication Society. And this book was written by Yogi Ramacharaka, who was also known as William Walker Atkinson. And I'm not sure if this book is still in print. I think it's no longer in print. I got my copy through eBay, and you can still find these books readily available. And come to think of it, you might even be able to find the works of Yogi Ramacharaka available in PDF format on the internet. And if not, you can find suppliers who still have copies. But this little book is called Science of Breath, and in this, the author tells us that getting your blood oxygen properly fixed, getting enough oxygen in your blood is just one small part of the equation. There is another part of breathing that goes, I'm going to say, completely overlooked in Western medical science. In the East, there is a teaching about chi, or prana, or we might say in English, the life force, the life energy. And the Eastern teaching is that we are surrounded with chi. We are surrounded with this life force, this life energy. It radiates, just naturally in nature. It's in the air we breathe. It is similar to the organ. Matter of fact, it may be the same thing as organ, which is believed to be generated, by some, generated by houseplants, pets, living things of all types and varieties. And what Yogi Ramacharaka reminds the reader is that according to Eastern medicine and Eastern metaphysical thought, when you breathe in, you not only breathe in air and oxygen and perhaps, a few pollutants like smoke and pollen and things like that, you also breathe in a certain amount of chi, or prana, this life force that I don't believe our Western science has confirmed the existence of yet. But the ancient mystical teaching is that we are surrounded with this life energy. And when you breathe in deeply and fill your lungs completely, and breathe in preferably through your nose, you fill your lungs not only with oxygen, but you also fill your lungs with this life force, this chi, this life energy. And this chi is just as important as the air you breathe and the food that you eat. If you're breathing in good, healthy air, you're going to be much better than if you're breathing in polluted, contaminated air. If you're eating good, healthy food, you're going to be much better off than if you are just eating junk food, 7 days a week, 3 meals a day or more. And if you are not getting your full supply of chi or prana, this life energy that the universe provides for us in an abundance, then you are not going to be as healthy as you otherwise could either. So, breathing, it's good from the perspective of getting as much oxygen as your body needs in order to function properly. And it also works as far as breathing in the chi, the life force. And what the Eastern practitioners teach, according to Yogi Ramacharaka, in the science of breath, is that when you breathe deeply and you breathe consciously and you acknowledge in your mind that you are bringing into your body not only much needed oxygen, but also much needed life force in the form of either chi or prana, depending on what tradition you follow, what words you use. It's all pretty much the same thing. But when you consciously bring prana, chi, into your body, that life force, that life energy, then your body is set up for better health. Your confidence level is again built back up to where you are more confidently empowered. And you also are empowered with a sense of gratitude. Because normally when most people breathe, I'm going to say almost 100% of the time, we breathe unconsciously. We breathe without even thinking of it. And I mean, that's good because it's a natural reflex. If you were to forget to breathe for 5 or 10 minutes, you'd be in a heap of trouble. But it's a reaction, some sort of a reflexive action. I don't know what the proper medical term is, but it's something that we do without thinking, almost 100% of the time. And what we can do to empower ourselves, one simple practice is whenever you happen to think about how you're breathing, take a minute or two to breathe in consciously, not unconsciously, but breathe in consciously through your nose. And exhale and acknowledge, feel grateful to the universe that you are being given this oxygen, that you have this ability to breathe, and that you are being freely provided with this life energy. This life energy, which according to the mystics surrounds us. It's kind of like the Force in Star Wars. Only this is like life force, life energy. And just breathe in gratitude that you have been given this gift, that you have been given this ability to breathe consciously, if only for a few times each day. And then after you breathe in consciously through your nose and exhale consciously through your nose, after you've done that for a few minutes, you can then just let yourself go and just go back into a normal breathing pattern. But whenever you happen to think about it during the day, try to breathe consciously. And breathe consciously in gratitude that the universe is giving you this gift of free air, free oxygen, and free life energy. And this will have an effect. This will have an effect on how you feel. It has an effect on how deep you can get into your practice of meditation. And it has an overall effect on health. Because there have been some people that have noticed that people that tend to meditate, and meditate, every day, they tend to age more slowly than folks that don't meditate. And I was amused a few years ago to find a video on YouTube. It was put up by a younger gentleman who was talking about his views on the Illuminati and the evil people of the Illuminati. And he mixed in what he called the Illuminati with Freemasonry and metaphysical, esoteric practitioners and groups that practice, hermetic principles and meditation principles and all that. He made the mistake of just lumping everything all together because they weren't doing what he was taught to do in his fundamentalist Christian church, and he just equated them all, under the same banner of the Illuminati. And what we call the Illuminati, there are many different versions of the Illuminati. I don't have time to get into that here. But, there are good sides, there are bad sides to everything. And to just lump people all together in one group because they practice meditation is obviously a disservice. But one proof that he offered that meditation was evil, according to his fundamentalist worldview, is that he noticed that people who were deeply involved in these metaphysical groups, these meditation groups, these offshoots of the Illuminati, that they tended to age much more slowly than normal people did. And he offered that up as one proof that these people were in league with Lucifer. They were handmaidens of the devil himself because they were receiving the gift of youth and aging more slowly than normal people who didn't practice meditation. And that amused me because, if you've taken some time to study meditation, to really know how it works, and a little bit about why it works, it's easy to understand why folks who practice meditation tend to age more slowly than folks who don't practice meditation. It's because, for starters, meditation has a calming effect. Stress alone can kill you. If folks are feeling stressed out, highly stressed out, with, high or abnormally high levels of stress, that in and of itself will age you. And then think about what we tend to do when we are stressed, how we react to stress. A lot of folks tend to self-medicate. If you're a red-blooded American male and you're feeling stressed, odds are you're going to go down to the liquor store and get yourself a six-pack of beer. And that's your medication. That's your self-medication. That's how you react to stress. You drink it away. Women, they may go for wine or some mixed drink, or a lot of times, a lot of women still will reach for a chocolate bar, reach for some sugar, some feel-good food like that. And if you're eating too much refined sugar or too much chocolate, I know there's some people that consider that to be a vegetable and jokingly will say this is part of my healthy diet. But too much of a good thing will hurt you. And so, if your response to stress is to drink it away by using or abusing alcohol, or eat it away by, eating ice cream, chocolate, and all that good stuff, which is definitely a temptation to me now that I no longer drink, you're going to be treating your body in an unhealthy way and contributing to a more rapid aging process. But if your response to stress is to go out for a walk, a little mild exercise, instead of taking in sugar and alcohol and calories, you focus on burning a few calories. You'll feel good, you'll feel better, you'll be doing your body a better service, and you'll be slowing down your aging process. And if another reaction to stress is that you sit down, once, twice, 3 times a day and do a daily practice of meditation, that not only combats the stress, reduces the stress, teaches you how to manage your stress in a healthy way, it also helps your body to soak in the oxygen that it needs, the prana, the life force, the cosmic energy that it needs. And we energize our body and give our body healthy things, and we do it in a way that calms not just, the stress, it calms not only the mind, but it also calms down the body, and it also calms down the soul. And when we take up a metaphysical practice like meditation, we nourish our mind, body, and soul in such a way that we treat our body with respect, and we do things that just naturally increase our energy, increase our level of positive energy, and that all works together to slow down the aging process in a lot of people. I'm not going to say that meditation is the fountain of youth. You will still, begin to kind of wear down over time. Common wear and tear will still have an effect on you. But let's just say you will tend to age more gracefully than if you deal with stress by drinking or overeating. So, even folks that believe that meditation is evil do admit that there is something to it that appears to give the practitioner increased health, increased youth, and increased vitality. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think that's happening because we're in league with Lucifer. That's happening because we're doing something good for ourselves, for our mind, for our soul, for our body. And when you're focused on doing good things for yourself, you'll get a positive payback rather than a negative payback that we see in folks who abuse alcohol or abuse, comfort foods. So, the importance of breath control and breathing properly in meditation, the importance is this, that by focusing on breathing in through our nose and out through our nose, it does help us to build up more oxygen, life force, prana, chi in our bloodstream and in our body. It helps us to relax better, to relax more fully, to deal with stress more effectively. And it just puts us in a better frame of mind to either sit down and do our meditation practice, or if you're focusing on proper breathing and proper breath control while you're giving a public speech, or singing, or just walking around doing your grocery shopping, it creates a more positive state of mind where you feel like, yes, I have been empowered by Spirit to go out into the world and to confidently do what needs to be done, and to do it in such a way that I feel good about myself. And that is a positive benefit too. Just that sense of self-empowerment. And just simple things like breathing in deeply when you think about it, and standing upright. Raise yourself up. If you're only 5 feet tall, raise yourself up to your full 5 feet. Don't slouch down to 4 feet and 11 inches. Just bring yourself up to your full bodily stature and feel good about yourself. Don't get reckless, but feel good about yourself. And breath control, It's one very simple tool that we can all use. And it's a simple little tool that goes overlooked in our modern Western society. And it's definitely something that we take pretty seriously here at Temple of the Infinite Universe. That's all we have for you today. I'm going to go ahead and close out. Also would like to give a little reminder that we are raising funds to build our temple complex, to build our headquarters here in Wheatland, Missouri. And we are still raising funds, so if you would like to become a financial supporter, you can look for us online at www.hermetictemple.com. And there you can see, what little updates we post, and you can also hit the donate button and give any amount that you would like. You can also become a Patreon supporter by visiting our Patreon page, and that link is in the program description on our Spreaker site. And if you have a question or concern that you would like me to address, either on air or privately, you can contact me via email at hermetictemple@gmail.com. That's hermetictemple@gmail.com. And I'd be delighted to hear from you. So until we meet again around the universe, this is Frater Ralph wishing you a blessed day of spiritual discovery. And I'm going to close out with a short song here by Sun Palace, Into Heaven. Thanks for tuning in.
Some birds fly south for the winter. Some birds stay here floating on the river. together.